Hello and welcome to Therapy by Craft. My name is Eunice. I normally don't do tutorials, but I love my Jelly Roll blanket, and I've been sharing on Instagram about my love for this blanket, and I keep getting comments on how difficult folks are finding it to do this join on the Jelly Roll. And so I thought I would share with you how I Jelly Roll in hopes to make it a lot easier for you guys. So the secret to my Jelly Roll blankets is in the seam right here. I know it's a little hard to see, but this little V-stitch right here, this makes it so that picking up the stitches to join each panel is so much easier than the way that it's written in the pattern. Now, this pattern is a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and it is seriously one of my all-time favorite blanket patterns, and so I cannot recommend it enough. It's just that I've made some modifications to make some of the trickier parts of the pattern way easier for myself. So, in order to kind of get ourselves set up for this kind of a seam, I'm going to show you guys how I do my very, very first panel. Now, because it is a paid for pattern, I'm not going to do the counts that the pattern calls for or anything like that. I am just going to start with a number of stitches that I find to be comfortable just for the purpose of this tutorial. I am going to cast on, how many is this? 4, whoops, 5, 6, and let's do 7 stitches just for the purposes of this tutorial. Now, for this setup panel, like I said, what we're going to want to make are these little V-stitch edges to make the pickup easier. Now, in order to achieve that, for the very first panel, we're just going to knit until the last stitch, and we're going to, okay, here we go. Gonna knit until the last stitch and slip one with yarn in front. That's it. We're going to turn our work and do it again. Knit all the way across until that very last stitch and slip one purlwise with yarn in front. And we're going to keep doing that for as long as you want your blanket to be. Knit all the way until your last stitch, slip one purlwise with yarn in front. And what that does is it starts to create these little twisted V's on the side of your panel. That's going to make it so much easier for you to pick up stitches when it comes time to do your subsequent panels. So if you can see that little V right here. Now I'm going to put this down and show you guys a panel that I've already done. And you can see here that there's these little V's. Oh, this is upside down. There we go. There's these little twisted V's that make it easier for you to pick up the stitches on the side when it comes to join. All right, so once you've finished the first panel and gotten it to the length that you want it to be, you're going to end up with a panel that kind of looks like this. So here's your cast on edge. You worked the length of your panel to however long you want it to be. You've loosely bound off and you have this one column. Now on the side, you're going to see these little V's that I talked about before, right? It is twisted, but that's just my preference. That's how I like it because I think that it makes joining a lot easier. So what I've done in preparation for my second panel is I went ahead and I cast it on 10 stitches using a long tail cast on to start my second panel. Now starting the starting panel has the directions that I told you guys earlier. Now every panel from this point forward, every subsequent panel is going to have these directions, okay? So you cast on the number of stitches that you want, and then when you turn it, you're actually going to be working the right side. And the right side is where you're going to be doing the join. Now, the directions for the right side rows are as follows. You're going to knit until your last stitch. And once you get to that last stitch, you're going to pause and pick up the blanket, the panel that you're going to now join. So in the pattern, it has you do like a pickup and a yarn over or whatnot, and it has you do something different for each pickup, and I can't wrap my brain around that. So what I like to do instead is after my very last stitch, I'm going to hold on to that stitch, and I'm going to stick my right needle into that very first V-stitch right there on that side. I'm going to put it onto my left hand needle, and I'm going to knit those two together. Whoops. Knit two together, just like that. And now it's attached. Now I'm going to do a couple more times, so hang tight. That is the right side row. On the wrong side row, this is where you're going to do your slips. I'm going to slip that first stitch purlwise with yarn in front, move it over to the back, tighten that up a little bit, and knit all the way to that last stitch. Once I get to that last stitch, we're going to create that nice pick up V stitch for my next panel. So I'm going to slip one purlwise with yarn in front. Turn to now work the right side. Now the right side, I'm going to repeat the instructions again. Knit all the way to that last stitch. When we get to the point where we need to join, I'm going to stick my right needle into the V, transfer it onto my left hand needle, and knit two together. That's it. On the wrong side, I'm going to slip one purlwise with yarn in front, tighten up that stitch when I move the yarn to the back, knit all the way to that last stitch, slip one purlwise with yarn in front. Now we'll do that one more time. This is the right side now. We're going to knit all the way across to that last stitch. We're going to pick up the next V from the panel before, move it on to our left hand needle, knit two together, and voila, that's been joined. Wrong side now. Slip one purlwise with yarn in front, move the yarn to the back, tighten it up. Oops. And then knit all the way across. Slip one purlwise with yarn in front. I think I might have been off camera, so let's try that one last time. Right side. Knit all the way across to that last stitch. Once we get there, we're going to put our needle into both legs of that V, transfer it onto the left-hand needle, knit together, just like that. And that is how I do my join for my Jelly Roll blanket. And what you get are these really nice twisted V's that sit snugly next to each other. And it makes it so much easier than doing the yarn over and trying to figure out where to pick up the stitches. Yeah. So I hope you guys have so much fun making seriously one of my favorite blankets of all time. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Bye.